We would never do anything without the approval of the Senate.
That's right. The Senate
It's
will
too late
never...
now.
Do you think
The Senate would revoke their trade franchise, and they'd be finished.
We must
Have the Senate bogged down in procedures. They will have
And has great faith that the Senate will side with her.
Queen Amida.
How will you explain this invasion to the Senate?
The Queen and I have assurances it will be ratified by the Senate.
I will not.
The hope is for the Senate to side with us. Senator
Then I will plead our case to the Senate.
She must convince the Senate to intervene.
Special session of the Senate to hear your position.
I'm grateful.
The Senate is full of greedy, squabbling delegates. There is little chance the Senate will act on the invasion.
John, the courts take even longer to decide things than the Senate.
Supreme Chancellor, delegates of the Senate.
I pray you will bring sanity and compassion back to the Senate.
The Senate is voting for a new Supreme Chancellor, and Queen...
I will see to it that in the Senate, things stay as they are.
Sign the treaty and end this pointless debate in the Senate.
Viceroy! I'm going to have to go back to the Senate and explain all this.
She's not like the others in the Senate, Master. It is...
Anakin, go to the Senate and...
It will be your responsibility to take my place in the Senate. If the Senate votes to create an army, I'm sure it's going to push us into a civil war.
I fear the Senate is powerless to resolve this crisis.
Request of the Senate almost 10 years ago!
I think it is time we inform the Senate that our ability to use...
Form the Senate is multiply.
The Senate will never approve the use of clones before...
Must vote the Chancellor emergency powers. He can then...
He knew all about the corruption in the Senate, but he would...
Misa propose that the Senate...
As a member of the Senate, maybe
Do you believe what Count Dooku said about Sidious controlling the Senate?
I feel we should keep a closer eye on the Senate.
And I assure you, the Senate will vote to continue the war as long as Grievous is alive.
Well, I will do everything I can in the Senate.
I doubt the Queen will continue to allow me to serve in the Senate.
The Senate is expected. Anakin, our allegiance is to the Senate, not to it. The Senate demanded that he stay longer.
Make a motion in the Senate where that kind of a request belongs.
I know they don't trust you.
Or the Senate.
The Jedi Council would have to take control of the Senate. We're on our way to make sure the Chancellor returns emergency power back to the Senate. In the name of the Galactic Senate of the Republic, the Senate will decide your fate.
I am the Senate.
Not yet. He has control of the Senate and the courts.
The Council's next move will be against the Senate. And with the Senate, and with you.
Our systems without keeping the Senate intact.
Operating on a plot by the Jedi to overthrow the Senate.
The Imperial Senate will not sit still for this. When they hear you've attacked a diplomat... I'm a member of the Imperial Senate on a diplomatic mission to Alderaan.
Word of this gets out, it could generate sympathy for the rebellion in the Senate.
I send a distress signal and then inform the Senate that all aboard were killed.
The rebellion will continue to gain a support in the Imperial Senate.
The Imperial Senate will no longer be of any concern to us.